Hey Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that monthly, that 3-month, and of course the 6-month closure. And guys, things are looking pretty good. I think if we just jump straight to the charts, that we can see the monthly chart here. And what you'll notice is that our monthly volatility pivot is all the way down at 18,925. There's not much of a chance of us just dropping straight there. So we still have a good opportunity to pump in this market, as we are also above the Bollinger Band's midline, and will maintain above that midline as long as we're above 28,600 or so, which is around the same territory as that neutral point of control, around 27,981. So any type of a flash wick down to 28,000, or even as low perhaps as 27,152 on the alpha momentum pivot, the bottom of the pool there, the alpha momentum pool, the bottom of the pool there, then as long as we just snapped back, I really couldn't be too bearish on that. However, strongly we would like to maintain prices above 30,465 in order to get that hold momentum on top of the pool, which would allow us to just continue to pump. Guys, you can see that I did adjust the 3-month volatility pivot. It is now all the way down to 31,405 from previously up here around the bullish control zone of the monthly, around 43,894. So should we be able to get above 31,405, then potentially the 3-month chart, not just the monthly chart, but also the 3-month chart is going to be bullish, and perhaps we could see a pump up to that bullish control zone on the monthly there to those early 40s. Now, where could this chart potentially top out over the next month, or perhaps even up to 3 months? It could be somewhere around that 6-month volatility pivot around 47,965. Now that's going to probably change over time, but guys, you can see that we are within striking distance of capturing some of these levels that could take us, to at least this liquidity point over here around 35,000, maybe 33 to 35,000, right? You see these candle lows over here. And then, if not that, then perhaps even to the bullish control zone, somewhere around maybe this wick over here, around 40 to 44,000. And then, should we be able to just wick above that, I would expect that maybe we're going to attempt to just flirt with the 6-month volatility pivot and grab some liquidity up here in the 50s, maybe even, before just catastrophically dumping all the way back down, and then creating a nice base to launch off of for the future bull market, whenever that's going to be. Not 2030, but maybe 2024, right? 2025. This is just exaggerated here, guys. As you can see, we are on the monthly chart, so we are talking about huge amounts of time for all of this to play out, and so always just remember there could be significant up and downs between those points of time. And, this could even take 6 months to play out, maybe even a year, right? It could take a couple 6-month candles. But yeah, I mean, so far everything is looking good. We are where we need to be above the Bollinger Band midline to have some type of potential for an epic run. Now, sometimes these things dip back down before they really get going. So if that happens to us, well, I'm sorry, but that's just how charts work. Okay, so you can see this one like popped up, kind of hit its head on something, came back down, and then got scooped up and went for it. Okay, so don't be surprised if we push up, but we just can't do it, and we have to have a pullback for maybe a certain amount of time. Who knows how long it could be before we end up going, really just going for it. Okay, guys. Well, I think that I've adjusted some of your expectations. Now, for the good news. The good news is that there really isn't anything stopping us either from just going vertical, guys. Okay, like, we could just literally just pop straight up, over the next couple weeks and do that in a flash essentially, and then find our way down. Kind of like we have these crazy wicks over here on the monthly. Okay, it means that that move essentially happened within a week or maybe even a few days or whatever, and then it came all the way back down. And so we could just get totally caught off guard, and this thing could just push, and we have to be ready for that possibility as well. That's why it's good to remember the key levels here above 31,405. Definitely bullish on the 3-month scale, but above 30,467, bullish on the monthly scale, with our pivot supporting us way down here. And then natural places of resistance are going to be that liquidity gap somewhere around 35 or just under, and then the bullish control zone around, let's just call it 42, and then the 6-month somewhere around 47 to 50, okay, if we consider that liquidity. So that's what I'm looking for on the macro. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, there could be the case that we just have some bad news. Maybe, BlackRock is rejected from its ETF deal or whatnot. Something happens in the stock market and we come tumbling down. Then on the downside, what I would be looking at is that monthly volatility pivot after breaching maybe 25,900. So let's just say we lose 26,000, we lose 25,000, then I would expect for us to retest our lows somewhere between 18 to maybe 22K, okay, somewhere in this area, and then maybe try again and just pray that we don't break down from there, because then we're going to get that 10K that all the bears have been lusting after, and the bulls will just look like a bunch of clowns, guys. Guys, I'm totally neutral on all of this. As always, we just trade the levels. We don't put our egos in it. And there's often been times I've called a direction and it just doesn't work out, okay? You've probably thought, the candles are going to go a certain direction and it just doesn't work out. We are not the whales. We are not the institutions. We are not the big money, okay? We don't move this market. We trade with the market, and we try our best not to trade against the market. Our opinion and our feelings do not matter. Sorry to tell you that, okay? All right, let's go ahead and jump down to the 1 hour just so that I can give you something to nibble on. Of course, if you catch this video early enough, you could probably take some trades on that. Now, we don't really have a momentum pool on the 1 hour today. It's essentially just overlapping lines right here around 30,465 to essentially, we can call it 30,500. Within that, wow, it's less than $100 range, right? We have just a lot of these key levels just kind of stacked right up there, where you see all of these wicks just getting rejected, right? Rejected, 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 rejected. Okay, are we going to get rejected again? Or are we able to flip this area over here, flip this area over here, and then the next one is to flip this area over here? We could be taking the stairs up, okay? So I don't know. Right now, if we close the next 15 minutes under this area here, it's not going to be the best look, but we're still going to be above the general continuation on the 1 hour. somewhere around 30,426. So I'd say there's still kind of hope. If we get embedded below there, then I would just watch out below, and maybe we could come as low as 30,115 before we have a chance to perhaps bounce again. Guys, I would hope for us to get above 30,480 in order for us to flip the volatility pivot, and then quickly above 30,518 in order to capture that neutral point of control. That'll allow the Bollinger Band midlines to get underneath us. If we can get embedded up there, then maybe we can take a ride up to the bullish control zone somewhere around 30,853 and maybe start to turn this ship around. But right now, we are just dealing with a very, very slender momentum pool that could easily just pull back quite strongly. If we do jump over to the 6 hour, you can see that we do have the pool overhead here, and our volatility pivot is just under us at 30,420. So we're going to have to capture the hold line at 30,467 in order to have that opportunity to be above the pivot, and then re-entering the pool for a potential launch where we would try to trade across the pool all the way to 30,708 and preferably get above 30,732 on the 6 hour there, which there's 4 hours left. So you can see if this setup initiates or not. Usually there's a little bit of a fake out at first, and then the next real momentum shift is the one that you want to be taking. But sometimes it just goes also. So you have to be prepared for a minor loss. Always bring up your stop losses to entry. And then, getting ahead of that, a pool, above the pivot, then perhaps we could take that to the bullish control zone. But right now, just kind of in between the pivot and the pool. So not really bullish, not really bearish, just kind of hanging on there, still above the Bollinger Band's midline, just barely. If we do lose that pivot at 30,420, then we could look at the neutral point of control at 30,266, and the bearish control zone comes in at 29,365. Should we lose that? You can see that we already did wick there once before, and so this is a realistic area to end up coming down to explore. So don't poo-poo that idea just yet. You have to really see whether or not these levels hold, and take the trade on the momentum shift. So here we have a momentum to the downside, popped back up. This is a shift. If we get back into the pool, then that's a good trade up there. Okay, and if we end up getting a rejection and have a shift to the downside, then you could take it off of one of these key levels to the downside and just see how far it goes. And then taking your profit is going to be up to you, of course, and as well as managing your risk and your stop losses. Guys, let's jump over to the daily. And on the daily, you can see that this one, unfortunately, we're starting to dip our toe back into the pool on the daily. So that implies continuation to the downside, just because we are below the volatility pivot here at 30,588. It does suggest that over time, over the day, we might end up doing that exploration to the downside, maybe to the add lose momentum level here at 30,216, essentially retesting the bullish control zone, sort of like what we did here, right? What we did here, and just maybe doing one more test before bouncing back up and maybe doing some nice things to the upside. Or if we lose that area, then of course the neutral point of control is all the way down at 28,614, where we could potentially end up, especially if we lose this wick at 29.4. Hopefully we are able to maintain this area, but you can see there's a lot of liquidity up for grabs, and so some market makers, some big players may want to try to grab that, just do a flash wick down there, and then get back above the Bollinger Band midline in order to continue to the upside, just using that as rocket fuel. We're still looking to see if the chart is going to choose its direction, which is very borderline here. Like I said, the first candle can often be a fake out, but if we get really embedded down there, then I would expect over the next couple days to work our way down. Should we be able to pop above 30,467 by the end of the day, then we should press into the volatility pivot at 35.88. And should we get clear of a 36.26, then that would be a potential long in my mind. Just because we'll be above the pool and above the pivot on the daily. Okay, guys. All right, I think I'm going to end it there. That's a lot of information for you guys to digest. I know that we just completed a quarterly, we just completed a monthly, we just completed a biannual. These things don't have to just automatically play out immediately. Usually there's a little bit of sleight of hand. You can see we had this Darth Maul candle here that liquidated people to the upside, and then it liquidated people to the downside. And now we're just kind of in this place of indecision. And so, this could go on like this for a few more days. It could go on for the next week. And, the monthly and the 3 month and the 6 month, they're going to take their time to play out, guys. Okay. So we're just going to watch the key levels. And remember, you take those trades on a momentum shift. Okay. You don't counter trade the chart. Guys, that's your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.